Hi, I'm Tiffany Aidoo. I am a former student athlete here, played on the women's basketball team, and I am so excited to have this conversation with the Mr. David Harris, who is joining us as the Director of Athletics with Tulane University. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. It's good to see you.
You too. I'm really excited to jump into this conversation because I know you've been here, you're so invested in the university, and I really want to start with just learning a little bit more about you.
Okay.
And so we're going to talk a little bit about in November of 23, you were welcomed at the press conference here, and I just thought it was really special what President Michael Fitz said about you. And he had stated that you are such a believer and supporter of student athletes on and off the field. What also he said about you, you know how to peel a crawfish.
Absolutely.
You know how to peel a crawfish. So I'm just really interested to hear more about what it means for you to be home, not only because of the food, but I hear you talk a lot about your family. So tell me more about what that also means to you in your journey to be home in New Orleans.
Yeah, my family is really critical. They are a big part of everything that I do. But for the past 2 decades, I really haven't had access to them the way that I now have the ability to do that living here in the city of New Orleans. I've lived in Wisconsin and lived in Iowa, and so it's been a really long trip to get from there back to Louisiana. And so in many cases, my access to family would be a couple of times a year, usually once during the summer and then once during the holidays. And so there are so many things that would happen throughout the year that you would ultimately miss. Holidays, birthdays, graduations, anniversaries, and you would try to get back to them as much as you possibly could. But it's different when you're close by and they can be an everyday part of your life. Now, the job is busy, and so I don't always have a lot of time, and I'm traveling a lot, and the job is new, so I'm even busier than I would be on a normal basis. And my sisters actually joked with me, and she said, okay, you used to live in Iowa and I didn't see you, and now you live in New Orleans and I still don't see you. And so I know that will calm down a little bit over time, but still, even if it's just knowing that you have the opportunity, that if you needed to make the time or wanted to make the time, or to be able to have them come and visit you. That's another thing that didn't happen so much in Iowa. I would make fun of my family because I'm like, hey, y'all can come up here and see me. It doesn't always have to be me coming down to Louisiana. But I think they were afraid of the cold. They thought it snowed all year long, so they didn't necessarily always come up there and spend time. So now having them be able to come here for a dinner or for a lunch or for those things has just been a really cool thing for me. And it's amazing that it brings you a certain amount of energy when you're doing the work. When you're doing the work that I'm privileged to be able to do here as an AD, and every day taking on the task and the challenge of trying to move Tulane athletics forward. When you have your family physically around, I think it just gives you an extra bump of energy when you're attacking the challenges that you are faced on an everyday basis.
I'm going to bring in the Destiny reference here where dreams come true.
Yep.
And I would like to think that Tulane's a place where dreams come true. And I would love to hear a little bit more about your dreams coming true and being here. We talked a little bit about how much your family invested in that. So share more about your dreams, where they came from, and what that means you being here, and just reflect on that right now.
Yeah, so professionally speaking, I guess I could take you through a little bit of my story in that when I went to Ole Miss, played football, graduated, got my master's, I knew I wanted to do something in sports, but at the time I thought maybe professional sports would be the route that I would take. There was a job that came open on campus working in admissions. I did that for a couple of years, worked in the registrar's office for a year, and then I had an opportunity, it would have been in 1998, to start working in athletics. And at the time, as you were talking about, student support and that focus, the job was working in student services. And so I took that because for me, it felt like a perfect mix of being in athletics, but working with young people on their lives outside of sport. I knew from experience that you were going to make your life and make your career with what you did after athletics was done. And so you could take elements of athletics and use it to help you make a better life. And so that's what really got me into the profession. working in student services, academic support, tutoring, life skills development, all of those things, directing that program at Ole Miss for 4 years. And so my love for student athletes, for their experiences in trying to support them, help them become the best version of themselves, really, I guess it was rooted even before then, but professionally speaking, that's where it really started. But then I didn't know that I wanted to do this. I didn't know that I wanted to be an athletics director. I knew that I enjoyed working in athletics, but I didn't know what the end goal would be. So I guess my third year in at Ole Miss, working there in athletics, there was a program that was announced from the NCAA called the Leadership Institute for Ethnic Minority Males. And it was meant to help men of color who wanted to be athletics directors develop the skills to be able to do it. It was a 14-month program. They had never done it before. This was the very first class, and so I thought it was interesting. So I decided to apply. I got accepted, and I went through the 14-month process with 19 of my brothers going through that particular time period. And a couple of things happened. One, it really bonded us together as a group, but secondly, it really solidified for me that I wanted to be an athletics director, that's the direction that I wanted to take. And so from there, my goal has been, and my dream has been, to be an AD, but it wasn't just to be an athletics director, to be an AD at a place where I really felt we had an opportunity to have success, where we can have really wide-ranging, broad success, comprehensive success, consistently is what you'll hear me say from time to time. And so when I looked at Tulane, that's exactly what I saw, a program that had already done some measure of that comprehensive success, many sports in many different areas doing well, in a great city with great community engagement, in a place where I had a family connection, a great academic background, so we were really in a position to be attractive to prospective student athletes because we're offering a top level education. So all of that came together at Tulane that just made this an opportunity that I couldn't pass up.
I love that, and I love hearing about your curiosity, your willingness to grow and learn in the ways that you have. Mm-hmm. And I think you've talked a lot about your family and yourself, like in terms of the scope of the work that you've done. I know your nephew, Adam Quintua,
yes. Yep.
And I would ask him this question only if you don't tell me the truth. So I think the question that I have for you is, what is something that most people do not know about you that your family would say is unique, funny, or interesting?
Wow. Okay. I think, well, I'll say this. You mentioned crawfish. So I didn't always like crawfish. When I was growing up and my family would get crawfish, I thought it was the greatest thing in the world because I wasn't going to eat crawfish. I could eat whatever I wanted. On crawfish nights, my mom would say, if you want to eat a bologna sandwich, if you want to eat a hot dog, do whatever you want. So I don't know exactly when that changed for me, because now, when I was living in Iowa, I would order 25 pounds of crawfish from Tony's Seafood in Baton Rouge and have it delivered. And if my family didn't jump in, I might sit there and eat the whole 25 pounds myself. But it wasn't always like that. I started off not really even caring for seafood. And so, which is a theme with me and my family, because they always make fun of me in that I have a lot of foods that I don't really like. And so they still, to this day, like potato salad. I'm not a potato salad person.
You can't eat everybody's potato salad, though.
See,
so
that's
that's
hear,
something that like you can't eat everybody's.
I don't eat anybody's potato
Yeah,
salad.
okay.
So that's part of the challenge.
Yeah.
Is that when a lot of people, when they make a bowl of gumbo, they'll take a plop of potato salad and put it right there in the middle. See, to me, that's like ruining a good bowl of gumbo.
Yes.
Not a potato salad person. Green peas and beets and the things that I didn't like as a kid, I still don't like. And so even my staff back at Northern Iowa would make fun of me because There were several people on the staff who liked Brussels sprouts, don't really care for Brussels sprouts. So my family would tell you that I can tend to be, despite the fact that I'm a big dude, I can tend to be a picky eater, and that there are a lot of things that I didn't like when I was a kid that I still don't like today.
That's interesting, living in a city of New Orleans where it's all about food.
Yep.
I really wonder how difficult it might be for you to find things to eat, or if that means that you just eat at home more often.
You know what? It's not difficult at all, because a lot of what New Orleans provides, I love.
Okay.
Like, I'm a seafood person, so I don't feel like I'm a picky eater at all. So crawfish, crabs, shrimp, gumbo, crawfish etouffee, oysters. I love all of that stuff. I love a good steak. I love spaghetti. I always joke and tell people, I eat anything. I just don't eat the stuff that's nasty. I don't, like liver. Okay.
That's a random one.
Growing up, my family would cook for dinner liver and grits. If there's one thing that I probably didn't really care for as much as a kid, but I love now, is grits. But I've never liked liver. And so, it's little things like that that I don't care for. But yeah, being here in the city, there's so much good food everywhere that I'm never going to bed hungry.
That's good. I appreciate you sharing that. You don't go to bed hungry.
Not at all. Not even close.
Good. Well, I'm going to transition a little bit more into, Tulane athletics and just what the now is looking like. And, this is a new era of success. And, Tulane is a place where they have just been doing incredible things. You're also coming from the University of Northern Iowa, where you built such a successful and incredible program. And so when I think about the success of Tulane, it's beaming with so many different ones, from the baseball team winning back-to-back AAC championships. You have the women's cross country team winning their first title, and then the football team that won the Cotton Bowl. I think that's absolutely impressive. So my question to you is, what is most exciting about the upcoming year for Tulane athletics, and what should we expect?
I think it's all exciting, right? You think about the fall sports first. So you obviously think about cross country and volleyball and football right off the bat. But Tulane was attractive to me because of all the things you just said. The success has happened in fall sports, in winter sports, and in spring sports. And so I think our people can expect to see continued success. You never know exactly what that's going to look like. You never know which of the teams are going to win a championship or qualify for postseason. But when I look at our student athletes and I look at our head coaches and the staffs that they put together, I'm incredibly excited, incredibly optimistic, because we've already shown that if you give us an opportunity, we can succeed. And now it's about building on that and making that even better. As I've said to people, I don't want us on a roller coaster where we have these really high highs, but then we go back down and we bottom out. We want to be consistently climbing and raising our level of competition and our level of success. And so with the staff that I believe that we have here, we're in a position to be able to accomplish that.
Yeah, and I don't want to leave out the educational success. That is something that you prioritize in your journey. That's the reason you're here at Tulane. So talk a little bit more about the education success. You have such a high graduation rate, and that plays a part in the overall beauty of what this athletic department is.
Absolutely. I admire our student athletes so much, because so much is put on them and they're required to do so much. But if you look at the way that they perform in the classroom, you look at the grade point averages, you look at the graduation rates, it's really just phenomenal the way that, with all the expectations that they have for practice and travel and the work that they do to prepare themselves to play the sport, what we ask them to do from a community standpoint, the commitment that they make to develop themselves through life skills, but then to understand that the core of what they're intended to do on our campus is to get an education and to get a degree, and to be able to do that at such a high level is just really kudos to them, because they clearly understand the job, they understand the mission, which is to come here to get the education and then have that education really lay out the framework of opportunity that they're going to have for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and I would even just say I'm a walking product of that. Coming to Tulane, being here for 4 years, staying 2 more years as a graduate assistant, coming back and being a program coordinator, and now being able to cover, the basketball games on ESPN Plus. I think this is the trajectory that a lot of student athletes will have, and they can pave that way for themselves. It doesn't have to be the journey that I've been on, but it can be in anything that they would want to do. And so I think that's a really exciting thing that I see for student athletes here, and for something that I also come back and do is invest, right? Got to invest in the student athletes, and as a former student athlete, that is a priority. And so I find that a lot of my peers also feel that way. So I'm excited to see more of that take place and form over a few years,
It
right?
truly can be transformational. The opportunity to be able to get access to higher education and have access to be able to compete in sports at the highest level. The combination of those things, I think, just is transformational in the lives of young people and opens up doors that are really create a great opportunity for advancement for the rest of their lives.
Yes, I agree. And you mentioned, the head coaches, and I'm thinking about, the new hires, Coach John Summerall, and you think about Coach Ashley Langford with the women's basketball team. Both have healthy histories with Tulane athletics.
Right.
And so when you think about the entire athletic program, what legacy do you want the coaches, the staff, and even student athletes to start building now and for the future to come?
The time that I've been an athletics director, I think about the things that I want student athletes to be able to take away from their experience. And maybe the best way to be able to say it is, what do I want a student athlete to be able to say when they leave the university? So, the day that they drive away from the campus, what are they saying about their experience? And I've always felt I want them to be able to say that they graduated with a degree and a major of their choosing, that they had an opportunity to be able to play for a championship at some point during their time here, that they felt cared for as a person, regardless of the sport they played or whether they were an All-American or whether they were someone that didn't play very much. They felt like people saw them, someone saw them and really cared about them as a person. And then ultimately, that they want to recommend the university to other prospective student athletes that, hey, you need to go to Tulane because this is a place where you'll have a great experience. And then finally, that at some point when they're capable, that they consider making a financial donation back to the university and back to the department to help other student athletes come and follow along in their footsteps. So when I think about legacy, when I think about what we're all working toward every day, it's with the idea that student athletes will be able to say that consistently across the board in all sports when they leave the university.
I love that, and I think that you lead by example. I know that you love to also give back in ways that, excite you. And so speaking to student athletes and doing all those things, leading by example is really, really important. And so, as I think about looking to the future, invest in excellence is the Tulane Athletics way. And you defined those things as academic excellence, as athletic excellence, as community engagement, DEI, and then also thinking about integrity. And I think those are really powerful things that can set the tone for years to come. And so what do you want people to remember about the impact you will have on Tulane 15 years from now?
I think maybe as much as anything, you're not thinking about it in terms of you, right? You're thinking about it in terms of we. What are we trying to build? And so if you fast forward 15 years and people are looking back, I really want them to feel that this was a significant part of building Tulane athletics into the model for college athletics. That academically we do the right things, athletically we're championship level, we're engaged in our community. We have great facilities, and we work every day to give our student athletes a great experience. And so if they look back and feel that, hey, During the time that David Harris was here, he was a part of a program bringing us all together, helping us all understand that we all played a role in being able to make this happen. No matter what your role was on the team, whether you were given to a major gift or given to the Green Wave Club, giving to a facility project, you bought a season ticket, you were a student athlete, you were a coach, you were an administrator, you were a fan. When you have success, it takes a lot of different people doing that work. And so I'm privileged to be in this position, but nothing that we're going to accomplish is going to be solely because of me and anything that I do. If I'm doing my job well, hopefully it is pulling people together to have us all understand that the kind of success that we want to see, the kind of success that has Tulane University as a household name in college athletics, we all have to be a part of that. We all have to invest in making that happen, and we all have an important role. So if we can get to a point where we're seeing as being that model of college athletics, emphasizing education while still giving championship level experiences and having that high level environment, then I think we can all be proud of the work that was done.
I absolutely appreciate the we and the philosophy. I think that's extremely important. No one does anything by themselves.
That's right.
It's always
Absolutely.
about community collaboration and everything else in between that makes it go. And so thank you for saying that. I'm going to switch it up a little bit for rapid fire questions.
All right.
So I'm going to ask a few questions, and the first thing that pops to your mind, you're going to answer those questions,
All
okay?
right.
So
Let's do it.
All right, sweet or savory?
Sweet.
Favorite sweet snack?
Ooh, what we used to call pecan candy when I was a kid, but it's pralines.
Okay, and you
Love
said it
those.
right, and I
Love
appreciate it.
those.
Not pecan.
That's right.
A new sport you would try?
You know what? I'm thinking about, don't hold me to this, but pickleball.
Okay.
I've never played, but I keep running into people saying, oh, I love pickleball and so on and so forth, so maybe I'll give it a try.
We're gonna have to get you on the pickle.
Yeah.
I can't even get it together. See,
Pickleball
pickleball.
court.
There we
Yes.
go. Thank you. See, favorite activity to do with your family in New Orleans?
Wow, I would say still yet to be determined. We haven't had a chance to have the full experience, although at this point, we really enjoyed Mardi Gras.
Okay.
That was phenomenal.
And if you can leave a nugget of wisdom for the Tulane community, or just anything that you're excited about, what would you share with the Tulane community?
I would say we have so many good things going on, so many of the right people. I think our focus is in the right place. We're doing great facilities, we're raising a lot of money, and we have great student athletes and fantastic leadership. Keep paying attention to what we're doing, keep investing in us, keep coming to the games, keep coming to the events. Our trajectory is in the right direction. But as I said, it's not about any one person, any one coach, or any one student athlete. So I think the nugget is any success that happens on a significant level is a product of a lot of people pulling together. If we can keep pulling together, we can do special things.
Well, thank you so much, David. I really appreciate this time together today, and I think that we have so much to do. It's not a you or me, it's a we. And I'm really excited to be part of that journey. So thank you.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure for me to spend this time, and happy to do it again at some point in the future.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you.